Welcome to the ETICS online tutorials. This is Module 8, Testing with ETICS Advanced Level. In the previous Module 7, we have seen how to execute or submit tests with ETICS using a small number of very simple commands with the web portal and the Python command line interface. However, in many situations, it is necessary to customize the test execution or submission to address specific needs or constraints. In this module, a number of useful options and properties will be explained, and it will be shown how to set them using the web and the command line interface. We need to start with some definitions. A test configuration in ETICS can be single mode or multi-node. A single node test is made of one or more tests running on a single machine, possibly interacting with services and components not controlled by ETICS. A multi-node test is one or more tests on services and components deployed on several separate nodes, all under ETICS control, possibly interacting with services and components not controlled by ETICS. This tutorial focuses on single node tests. Multi-node tests are described in Module 15. 3 steps required to test with ETICS have been described in the previous Module 7. We will now examine a number of useful options for the ETICS checkout and ETICS test commands. Let's take the checkout command shown here and describe each one of the options used. The client sometimes requires confirmation from the owner to override existing configurations or when conflicting information is found. The No Ask option instructs the client to assume yes for all such interactive questions without interacting with the user. This is very useful when using the client in automated procedures. Build time dependencies of binary packages are often not needed during a test, since binary packages only require runtime dependencies to be present. However, by default, ETICS downloads all build time dependencies in order to store them in the local cache for when they are needed. The shallow bin depth option instructs the client to skip the build time dependencies of binary packages and therefore reduce the test disk footprint and download time. Unlocked configurations require information from parent project configurations. The project config option allows you to specify which project configuration should provide the missing information, such as default dependencies values, global properties and parameters. The project configuration does not have to be the current parent configuration. Any configuration of the project can be used to inherit information. This is particularly useful for the testing of a component in a different context or with completely different sets of dependency versions and property values. When the project config option is used, normally the configuration to check out is defined by the project configuration itself, and it is not necessary to specify it. In this example, the configurations of ETICS Client Test Suite to be checked out is chosen by looking at what configuration is specified by the project configuration ETICS Test Suites R14121. However, sometimes you want to test a specific configuration of component, inheriting properties from a project configuration that contains a different configuration of your component. In this case, you need to specify which configuration to take using the -C or config option. If no ask is not used, the client will interactively warn that the requested configuration does not belong to the specified project configuration and wait for confirmation. The ETICS test command executes the test instructions of a configuration and all its children and dependencies. Let's look at some more options for the ETICS test command. By default, the client executes the full test sequence from init to publish. Sometimes it is necessary to stop at a specific target without completing the full sequence. This is done by specifying the target name with the target option. The possible targets are init, test and publish. By default, the client tests the entire test tree of the specified component in the correct order. Even if a dependency has already been tested in a previous run, it is retested when the command is executed. Sometimes you need to retest only a specific component and not all of its dependencies going straight to that component. This is done with the No Depths option. By default, the client stops execution as soon as an error is found, for example if a package cannot be checked out or information is missing. The Continue on Error option allows continuation in case of errors and shows all errors in a final report. By default, the client detects the local platform and uses it to select properties and dependencies from the ETICS store. The Platform option allows detection override and specifies a different platform from the list of ETICS supported platforms. In some cases, especially for tests, it is necessary to use sensitive information like usernames or passwords to access external services. These sensitive values cannot be stored in the test configurations themselves, since they would be visible to all users. Passing hidden properties with a test command, either using the web or the command line client, provides a secure mechanism to use sensitive information. The hidden properties, those ending in .hidden, are never stored anywhere nor shown in the final test logs or reports. All the options described so far for the ETICS Python client are available also in the remote test form of the web portal. The options can be selected using the checkboxes and lists provided. In some cases you need to expand the form sections to see all available options. For example, the project config option value can be selected from this list. There are also fields to specify manual custom properties or any client option for which a specific checkbox is not provided. The shallow bin depth option can be enabled by specifying it in the custom checkout options field of the checkout section, like this. Hidden properties can be specified using the custom properties field in this way. The equivalent command line commands are shown at the bottom of the form and can be used to also reproduce the same test using the Python client. This concludes Module 8. In the next Module 9 we will learn how to request and manage a new ETICS project.